Cast view from above targeting cloud of fairies. Make 1,000,000 billion fairies. This might be what you hear when the game ends, but what's actually going on behind the scenes? Welcome back to Better Know a Combo, brought to you by me, alias V. Oh, and the Spike Feeders and GAMEGENIC. They're kind of important too. Today's combo uses a brand new enchantment from Dominaria United. Vesuvan Duplimancy is a mythic enchantment for 3 and a blue that reads: whenever you cast a spell that targets only a single artifact or creature you control, create a token that's a copy of that artifact or creature, but it's not legendary. If you're observant, you might notice that this is similar to, but not quite the same, as OVERRUN, the All-Form. This commander is a combo all-star, so just keep in mind that many of the combos that work with Vesuvan Duplimancy will also work with OVERRUN. Peregrine Drake, Great Whale, and Palinchron can also step in for Cloud of Fairies, and if you're using one of those, you'll actually net mana while you're executing this loop. With Vesuvan Duplimancy, Cloud of Fairies, and any white permanent in play, I'll cast View from Above targeting Cloud of Fairies. Duplimancy's trigger goes on the stack, on top of View from Above, and when it resolves, I'll make a copy of Cloud of Fairies. When the copy enters, it triggers its own ability, and I'll untap the 2 lands I used to cast View from Above. Finally, View from Above resolves, giving the original Cloud of Fairies flying. Because I control a white permanent, View from Above returns to my hand as it resolves. Now I'm back to where I started, but I've got an additional token copy of Cloud of Fairies. I can continue this loop as many times as I want, netting 1 copy of Cloud of Fairies each time. This sounds awesome, but how can people interact? Let's take a look at the combo and talk about the ways you can interact at the times you receive priority. With Vesuvan Duplimancy, Cloud of Fairies, and a white permanent in play, I'll cast View from Above. This triggers Vesuvan Duplimancy, so the first chance you'll get to react is when the spell and the trigger are both on the stack. Like with any spell, you can counter it here to disrupt the combo. You can also remove Duplimancy or the Cloud of Fairies, or counter the trigger with something like Green Slime. You can also flash in a Hushwing Gryff to prevent the copied fairies from doing anything when they enter. Alternatively, if you fancy having fairies, flash in a Crafty Cut Purse to dissuade me from continuing the combo. Generally speaking, this is the best time to interact because I'll likely have the least amount of mana available to respond. Once the Duplimancy trigger resolves, I'll create a copy of Cloud of Fairies, and its Enter the Battlefield trigger goes on the stack. If you missed it before, you'll have another chance here to remove the permanents or counter the View from Above. You can also counter the Enters the Battlefield trigger to prevent me from untapping my lands. Once the ETB trigger resolves, I've still got View from Above on the stack. This is your absolute last chance to interact before the loop is over, and I'm ready to go again. But what if you're not playing reactive spells like that? How can we shut them down? We talked about Hushwing Gryff earlier, but that's not the only way to shut down Enters the Battlefield triggers. Hushbringer, Torpor Orb, and Tocatli Honor Guard do the same thing, but they have to be on board a little earlier to shut this combo down. Because I'll be casting View from Above over and over again to sustain this loop, you can throw a wrench in my math with something like Damping Sphere, Thalia, Guardian of Thraben, or Thorn of Amethyst. You can also just put a cap on the number of times I can cast it by showing me an Archon of Emeria, Deafening Silence, or Rule of Law. Finally, Cloud of Fairies is just an itty-bitty 1/1, so you can keep it off the board using something like Karvek the Spiteful or Tainted Ether. You can also just put a hard cap on the number of fairies that can enter by having a Suture Priest on board. It doesn't totally shut the combo down, but you may as well make it hurt. And that just about does it for this episode of Better Know a Combo. If you'd like to see shenanigans such as this in action, be sure to head on over to my channel, Elder Dragon HIJINKS, which is all about casual commander with awesome individuals, kind of like that gym guy from Spike Feeders. If you have an interaction you want to see explained, make sure you let the spikes know in the comments below, and we'll catch you next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe.